Filters allow you to limit the data that displays in your content to show only the information that is important or relevant to you. When you create a filter for a chart in WebFOCUS Designer, it creates a dynamic parameter filter. This means that when the chart is run, you can select the value or values to display at runtime. To create a filter, drag the field that you want to select filter values for to the filter toolbar, or right-click the field and click Add to Filter Toolbar. You can filter for any field in your data, regardless of whether or not it is used in your chart. When you add a filter to a chart in Designer, you are prompted to select filter values. These values are used as default filter values for a dynamic parameter filter at runtime. Users will be able to select any value or set of values for the field. Click the values that you want to use, then click outside the filter control to apply the filter. The chart refreshes, and the filter control shows the selected values. If you select one or two values, they are listed by name. If you select 3 or more, the filter control says how many values were selected and how many are available. If all values are selected, the filter control says all. Different types of fields can be filtered in different ways. For a filter on a character field, such as product category, you select values from a list. You can right-click the field to change it to an exclude filter, where selected values are excluded from the chart, or make it single select, which allows you to select only a single filter value. If you filter for a measure field, you are presented with a slider. By default, numeric measure filters are aggregated filters, which means that the filter is applied after aggregation. If you create an aggregated filter for revenue, for example, the available filter values are the revenue values from each different area of a chart. If you right-click an aggregated filter, you can change the aggregation from sum, the default, to a different aggregation. This is indicated on the filter label. You can also select the detail option to create a detail filter. In this case, the filter is applied before aggregation to individual records in your data source. If you create a detail filter for revenue, for example, the selected filter value is applied to each individual record, for instance, for each sale. By default, numeric filters are ranges. You can set the maximum and minimum values to include. If you right-click a filter, you can set it to be greater than or equal to, greater than, less than or equal to, or less than a value. If you create a filter for values greater than or equal to, or greater than a specified value, the upper limit of the filter is locked, and you can only adjust the lower limit. Conversely, if you set it to be less than or equal to, or less than a value, the lower limit is locked, and you can only set the upper limit for the filter. If you create a filter for a date field, you select a range of dates by default. You have 2 methods available to select a date range. You can select a preset range of common periods such as year to date, the past week, or past month, or you can use the calendar control to select a custom range. The default date range in the calendar is based on your data. Similar to a numeric field, you can also filter for data from before or after a specified date. In either case, you use the calendar control to select a single date value to serve as the start or end point for your filter's date range. For all filter types, you can right-click a filter and click Require Selection to make the filter required. If a chart includes a required filter, it will not load until values are selected at runtime. Filters are optional by default, meaning that the chart will run with the specified default values without the user making a selection. To delete a filter, right-click it and click Delete, or click the red X in the corner of the filter control. When a chart with a filter is added to a page, the filter is automatically identified and can be added to the filter panel on the page with a single click. Filters can be extremely useful to help focus on the most important information and allow you to analyze how specific scenarios affect your data. To learn more, visit the WebFOCUS Knowledge Base, where you can search all technical topics and videos.